All right, welcome DoorGrow property managers to the DoorGrow Show. If you are a property management entrepreneur that wants to add doors, make a difference, increase revenue, help others, impact lives, and you are interested in growing in business and life, and you're open to doing things a bit differently, then you are a DoorGrow property manager. DoorGrow property managers love the opportunities, daily variety, unique challenges, and freedom that property management brings. Many in real estate think you're crazy for doing it. You think they're crazy for not, because you realize that property management is the ultimate high trust gateway to real estate deals, relationships, and residual income. At DoorGrow, we are on a mission to transform property management business owners and their businesses. We want to transform the industry, eliminate the BS, build awareness, change perception, expand the market, and help the best property management entrepreneurs win. We're your hosts, property management growth experts, Jason Hull, the founder and CEO of DoorGrow, and Sarah Hull, co-owner and COO of DoorGrow. Now, let's get into the show. All right. What are we talking about today, Sarah?
I wanted to talk about this thing that keeps coming up, and I've seen it 2 times in the last week, is hiring on experience.
Oh,
everyone goes, oh, yeah, I would love somebody who's experienced and they already know the industry and they already know my systems and they know how to do things. And that would be fantastic.
So this people listening are going to go, well, yeah, why? Of course you want people with experience like that. It would be dumb not to have, to have people with zero experience, right?
Wrong.
Okay. So let's explain this. Like what are you talking about?
All right. So the first thing that I'm going to say, as soon as I say it, it'll click, right? If we are looking to hire someone who's already familiar with the industry, who's working in the industry, maybe they understand some of your tools, your software, perhaps some of your processes, you're narrowing your candidate pool to such a tiny little minutia of a candidate pool. How many people do you think there are that have experience in property management that are now in the job market?
Okay.
Right? Like, oh, I'm only going to hire somebody if they have experience in property management, or I'm only going to hire somebody if they understand how to use AppFolio. All right. So we went from here to here. Tiny little segment of the market. The other thing I'll say about this is if you find someone who has experience in the property management industry and perhaps even in your software and your processes, why is it that they're looking for a job? If they were so great, would someone not have snatched them up already?
What if they get them to come from another company? Like they convince them.
Let's talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so glad. It was like this morning we were having a conversation and I had mentioned this to one of our clients who is currently trying to hire people based off of experience. So here's the other problem is, and we've seen this a couple of times, businesses stealing other businesses' team members and employees. There's one case that I'm thinking of in particular that is kind of getting a little nasty. The 2 competitors are trying to take what they can, clients, team members, whatever they can, market share. They're just trying to take anything that they can from the other one. And one of them snatched the operator, which is really not a good person to lose in your business.
Yeah.
Now, why was that able to happen though? She had experience, right? So the new company is like, oh, this is perfect. She understands property management. She's got experience. She knows how to do this. Well, I'll snatch her on up.
Most would think, most entrepreneurs would think it's just about money, because entrepreneurs always look through the lens of money. So they'll think, well, she probably just got a better offer.
And in this case, I bet she did.
Okay.
And the problem that we're overlooking here is we're skipping the most important part, which is looking to see if they're a culture fit. And then the second most important part is looking to see, are they the right personality fit for the role? And then and only then do we want to look at their skill set and experience, and do they have the intelligence level to be able to learn that particular task.
Right.
Right.
This is one of our frameworks, the 3 fits: culture fit, skill fit, personality fit.
Mm-hmm.
And culture fit, most important. So yeah, I agree. If people are not the right culture fit, then by default, you're overpaying for your team members, period. If they're because either they're underperforming because they don't really believe in your business or buy in. So their secret goal really is just to get paid as much as possible, and I probably do as little work as possible would be their ideal. Right. And so that's if they're not a culture fit. If they're a culture fit, they buy into the vision. They believe in you. They're excited to work for you. They want to have an impact. They have a motive besides just getting paid. And so, yeah, if they're not a culture fit, it's guaranteed you're overpaying for that team member because either they're crappy or you're having to like compensate them a bunch of money in order to keep them on board at your business because they don't enjoy being there.
Mm-hmm.
So then you end up overpaying in order to keep them. And if people are only loyal to $1, then yeah, you're at risk of losing those people pretty easily.
Absolutely. And that is why this particular operator was able to be swayed. So if you've got people who are a culture fit, if you've got people who really believe in the company, in you as the business owner, in the vision and the mission, where you are wanting to go and what you are wanting to build. If people are truly bought in and on board with that, that makes all the difference in everything that they do. So can you hire somebody with experience who understands how to use Buildium or Propertyware or your phone system, whatever it is, and your ticket system? Yeah. And they can come in and they can do the job. And it would be a night and day difference if you had somebody who truly believed in your company and you had to just train them to do those things. And then they were able to do them. They're going to outperform the person who only has the experience every day of the week.
Okay, so can you share an example? Because you mentioned some clients were having issues with this. So like let's tie this in with maybe a story.
Yeah. So it was just last week I was talking with Andrew, and he had recently hired a couple of team members.
Mm-hmm.
I think he hired a BDM and an admin, and there was maybe someone for maintenance. I don't remember who the third one was. So he had recently hired these people.
Okay.
Already he's looking to replace them.
Okay.
Because either they're not working out or they're moving on. So his BDM, she is a real estate agent as well. And she's like, oh, well, I'm just actually going to go focus on real estate. I don't think I'm going to do all of this. So he's now having to, and it's been under maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months.
Yeah.
So not a very long time. And he had mentioned to me, so I've got this one person in mind and their experience. And as soon as he said experience, I went up, oh, okay, he's hiring the wrong way. He's hiring completely the wrong way. So I had asked him, I said, all right, so just out of curiosity, when you're talking with people, when you're looking at resumes and you're screening candidates, what are the things that you're looking at? Like, what do you look at first? And he's like, well, I look to see, do they have experience in the industry? And specifically, do they already know how to use my tools?
Yeah. So that's first. Yeah. That's a big red flag. And a lot of people listening might not get that, but that's a red flag. Huge. Okay.
So aside from the fact that, like I said, your candidate pool is so tiny. I mean, if there is a person, I would love to meet you, who, when you were in, kindergarten and elementary, who said, oh, when I grow up, I want to be a property manager. When I grow up, I want to be a leasing agent for a property management company. I would love to do that. That's my dream job.
Right.
Who? That doesn't happen, right? So people kind of, they work their way into property management, but it's not the dream that you typically have when you're a child trying to choose your career path.
Yeah.
So,
And that's because the industry as a whole has an awareness problem. There's not a lot of people aware of property management, and there's plenty of roles in property management that different personality types would enjoy doing or would thrive in, but people are not thinking of the industry. And so, yeah, looking for people with experience, I think would be really limiting,
yes, yes, very challenging. So you need to find somebody who has experience in the industry. That already will be hard.
Mm.
And then even if they have experience in the industry, then you're going to say, oh, and they need to have experience with my specific tools and software that I use. That becomes harder.
Right.
Right. So I had said to him, I said, well, all right, I have experience as a leasing agent. Would you hire me? Because I might know how to do leasing. I do know how to do leasing, right? But I know how to do leasing my way, because when I was running my company, I knew how I did leasing. But that doesn't mean I know how to do leasing your way. So even if you hire based off of experience, you still have to train that person.
Mm.
That does not forego the training. And a lot of times I think this is what happens is people go, oh, I would love to make my life easier and hire somebody. And then maybe I don't have to spend a whole lot of time training them on a tool or a system or how we do things because they already know how to do it. Even if they know the tool, they still don't know your processes. They don't know your way of doing things. So you will still have to train them. Now, it is possible that the training is easier if you don't have to explain how to use the tool, if they already know how to use it and they're familiar with it. Yes, that part of training becomes easier. It does not mean, though, that training will not still be a 1 to 3 month process, experience or not.
Right. So, yeah, so you're saying a lot of people will try and hire somebody based on experience because they're trying to avoid having to take the time to train somebody.
Yeah, to train. You can't,
Which is
experience
another red
does
flag.
not forgive training. So you can hire me. I can come into your business and I can screw it up just as well as somebody who doesn't know what they're doing can. Why? Because even if I know how to use that tool, I know how to do it the way that I did it. I don't know how to do it the way that you do it yet. I don't know your processes. I only know how I did leasing, and how I did leasing might be very different than how you do leasing. I know how I did sales, but that might be very different from how you do sales. I know how I onboarded clients, but that might be very different. I might do your leasing and you would go, Sarah, what the hell? Why did this happen? Well, I don't know. That's just how I used to do it. So if you hire someone who has the experience and has the knowledge, you still have to train them.
Yeah.
And training is the most important thing that you can do when hiring. If you hire anybody and you completely forget or just choose not to train them, it is going to be a train wreck.
I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we're in the mode of like doing things quickly and we're impatient. And so we get lazy sometimes when it comes to onboarding team members. We're like, yeah, just here you go. We throw them to the wolves.
Baptism by fire.
Yeah,
figure it out.
Yeah. And lazy onboarding is not a great strategy, right? It's going to take work regardless of the person that you bring on. And there's advantages when they don't have the skill or the experience, in that you can make sure that they're doing it the way that you value and the way that you like. So there can be a benefit. I think for sure, if they're not the right culture fit, for sure you're overpaying or they're underperforming. Either way, you're overpaying. If they're not the right personality fit for that particular role, you'll just constantly be frustrated. And training them and trying to onboard them will just be a demoralizing experience for you because it's impossible. Like you'll be trying so hard to get them up to speed. And I think this is where people have experienced this and they're like, well, I just need to go find someone with experience. But the real problem is they're not the right personality to do the job well. If somebody is the right personality, they would naturally be good at it. They would be inclined towards doing it. You wouldn't have to motivate them or inspire them to do it. They would want to because they love doing it. It's aligned with who they are. And otherwise, there's always going to be some serious friction. Culture and personality are off. There's going to be lots of friction. And then even related to skill fit, if they're not intelligent enough to do the job, because some jobs require a little bit more intelligence, right? You know, like the best team members are usually the best at problem solving. That's an intelligence challenge. You can give them all the skill, like here's the processes, et cetera. But if they can't problem solve because they're an idiot, like then it becomes a real problem because you have to then do all the thinking. You need intelligent people. And so that's part of the skill fit. So you need all three. And you can't, what's interesting about this, and we've talked about the 3 fits before on the podcast, is you can't create culture, personality, or skill and intelligence. Like you can't really create those. You have to go find it. You have to find somebody that has all three. And just finding somebody that has one of the three is not going to be a fit. They have to be all three or they can't be in your business. Or they're just going to be screwing things up and there's going to be so much friction, so much waste. You're going to be spending way too much money. You're going to be spending way too much time trying to onboard them, and it's going to be a mess.
I agree.
Cool. So in seeing these clients and people dealing with hiring, how do we solve that? How do we solve this?
You have to take the hiring process and flip it backwards. So the first thing you have to do is you have to determine if they're a culture fit for your business. But in order for that to happen, you have to know what your culture is, and it has to be defined.
Yeah.
Which is why, and this is where people fight me, is when they want to implement Door Grow hiring. They're like, I desperately need to hire somebody. I need somebody. Like, please help me with hiring. Great. Yeah. Send me your cultural documents. Oh, I don't have those. Then I can't help you find a good hire.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Right.
Because it's Russian roulette. So if you don't have your culture defined, meaning I need your company core values, I need a decision-making guide, I need a client-centric mission statement, I need your personal why, and I need your business why. Without those things, I cannot help you find someone who's going to be great, because I will never know, nor will you, are they a good culture fit? If you don't even know what your culture is, how are you going to figure out if they match that?
So what you're saying is people need a better system. They need a hiring system, and most don't really have a good system. I guess everybody has a hiring system. It's just usually a pretty crappy one. But they need like building intentionally a really intelligently designed hiring system, which is what we do with Door Grow Hiring. Is a game changer for a business, because hiring is one of the biggest challenges I've seen even in multi-million-dollar companies with friends. And this is something we've gotten really well dialed in at Door Grow, but this is a constant challenge for most businesses. And until they figure it out, I was talking with one of our clients yesterday, and he added like 114 doors in like the last like month or so. And so he's just like, his business is growing crazily. And he's this amazing client because he does everything we tell him to do. He's got an operator now. They're using Door Grow OS. Like they're crushing it. And I was talking with him, and his big challenge right now is maintenance technicians. He had 4, he lost 2. So he's now trying to hire. And in having a conversation with him, I had to shift his mindset that he's no longer right now a property management company. That's what the business he thinks he's in. And because he thinks he's a property management company, he doesn't want to focus as much on the hiring piece. That's not the business that he's in. But I had to help him see right now, the business that he's in is, in order to scale, this is his biggest constraint, is he's going to consistently need to be bringing in more maintenance techs into his business. And so I said to him, I said, your business for right now, until you get this solved, your business is not a property management company. Your business is a maintenance technician talent acquisition company. That's the business you're in. And until he accepts that, he can't solve this problem. And so most businesses, this is a big constraint. And for him right now, it's the constraint. And once he gets this solved, once he gets this dialed in, so that he becomes good at hiring and onboarding and getting up to speed maintenance technicians. And he was planning on just trying to replace the two. I said, we in coaching, and we were talking about, you need to bring on probably 4, because at least 2 are not going to stick. In order to find, you need at least 4 in order to find 1, maybe 2 that are going to be good, and give them a working interview where you have them do some work to see if they can perform. And so, and this means he needs an engine where he's consistently every month bringing in a good amount of maintenance technicians and has a system for doing this. And so businesses need, if you're wanting to scale and grow quickly, you have to have systems in place. And one of the key ones is a really solid hiring system that allows you to get culture, personality, and skill. And that's what we've developed with DoorGrow Hiring and DoorGrow ATS, our applicant tracking system. And so, and we talked about optimizing the ATS just for those particular candidates, because they don't want to go through a more lengthy application process like we do with some candidates, you know, these maintenance techs, and then vetting them through our AI assessments and stuff like this afterwards to assess them for problem solving, because that's his biggest challenge. He says, my best maintenance techs are the problem solvers. I'm like, that's an intelligence problem. So we have to figure out a way, without doing illegal things, you know, or that you're not supposed to do. You have to figure out a way to assess or figure out that they're intelligent. And one way would be a working interview. Another way would be, you know, the AI assessment tool that can assess cognitive ability, you know, stuff like this. But, and that would come after he does a culture interview with them first. And so, because yeah, he was looking for skill. And that's the challenge. So this is good.
It's super common. Everybody always goes, oh, I need skill. I need experience.
Yes. And that is, you do want people that have some experience would be great, but having people that have the intelligence level to absorb information quickly and to learn and to problem solve is way better than having somebody that has a ton of experience, but is terrible at adapting and is dumb any day of the week. And so they will get up to speed and supersede somebody with a decade of experience if they're slow and not able to learn anytime. So, all right. This is a good topic. Anything else we should say about this?
That's what I got.
All right, cool. Hopefully this is helpful for those of you listening. If you're struggling with hiring, a lot of you have made these mistakes, right? You've hired, you've like had people churn out. You're like, it's hard to find good people. These are the excuses we hear from people that have a crappy hiring system. There's no good people out there. It's tough in my market. We can't find good people. Millennials don't want to work, you know, but whatever, right? Just pay people. Why won't they just do what I fucking tell them to do? You know, whatever it might be. So that's just a sign that you have a bad hiring system, or that you just have terrible culture, or you have bad onboarding.
Or no culture.
No culture to find.
No culture.
Yeah. And so we need to get these things cleaned up in your business, or your business is constantly going to be a prison for you. It's going to be really hard. Until you get a really good team and you have really good culture in your business defined, business is hard. And this is where I see a lot of people get stuck between 200 to 400 units, where they have an entire team and they're the most frustrated and usually the least profitable per unit they've ever been, because it's the team and they can't see it. They're like, oh, I have a good team. You have a team that are willing to take your money, but are they a great team? If you're still wearing, here's how you know. Super easy way to know. If you have an entire team and you've got 200 to 400 units or more, and you have been unable to scale it past 600 doors for the last 3 to 5 years, you've been kind of stuck there, and you are still wearing hats that you do not want to be wearing, and you're sometimes asking, why won't my team think for themselves? You're the problem. This is the problem. You are showing up as the wrong person in the business, and you have bad culture and a bad hiring system. And if you want to get that solved, reach out to us at DoorGrow. This is very simple to solve. It's not too difficult, and we can probably get most of that mess cleaned up in like a single quarter, like 90 days. So reach out to us. We'd love to help you out. You can check us out at doorgrow.com. So, and if you're wanting more, if you stumble across this, maybe on YouTube or somewhere else, make sure to like and subscribe and join our free Facebook community, doorgrowclub.com. You can get to it by going to doorgrowclub.com. And until next time, to our mutual growth. Bye, everyone.